Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Vince, and today I have a fantastic singer, a superb actor, a dancing machine, the amazing Sharrod Williams.
Hello, hello.
He is here, happens to be in Atlanta, on tour with Moulin Rouge, and he stopped by to have lunch with me, and we're going to talk about what it's like to be a professional in the performing arts. And so we got a lot of stuff coming up, and we're gonna make ourselves a great brunch. You know, Atlanta has dubbed itself the brunch capital. They have as many brunch restaurants as churches. So we're gonna have ourselves a nice little brunch, some peach cobbler French toast and some shrimp and grits. Maybe even a blood orange mimosa, you like that?
I would love that.
Stick around and we'll be right back. All right, well, Sharrod, thanks again so much for stopping by for lunch. So we're gonna get started on our lunch. Some peach cobbler French toast. You made French toast before, kinda?
Yes.
Kinda, cool.
Kinda,
so we're gonna,
heavy on the kinda.
heavy on the kinda.
Yeah.
So we got eggs, milk, a little vanilla, some cinnamon.
Cool.
We're gonna stick with that. So you can have at it.
Great. We start with the eggs?
We start with the eggs.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna add my contribution.
Yes, please.
Okay. There we go.
And then we go that. Ooh.
Amazing.
Little technique there.
Got
a little trash. Love that. One.
Chef Sharrod.
Chef Roddy.
Those are those eggshells I was talking about.
Yep. See,
all right.
This is why you make the big bucks.
All right, now we're going to give just a little bit of vanilla extract. A little goes a long way.
Sounds good. Just like a pour moment?
Yep, just a pour.
Tell me when. How much?
More.
Okay.
And when. Okay, and use your fingers to pinch of cinnamon. There's a fork there. Make that 4 pinches of cinnamon.
So 1.
Yeah.
There 2. 3.
Yeah.
4. Wow.
Now,
like
if you're
my concentration face is real.
I like it. I like it. And now, if you're feeling adventurous,
okay,
you could definitely go with the nutmeg to make it uniquely yours.
Nice.
So this part, so we actually have fresh nutmeg there. That little ball there, that's actually what nutmeg looks like.
Nice.
And so you're just going to rasp on a small
side
part.
to side or like up and down?
Yep, up and down.
This way.
That way.
Got it.
There you go. You can see it falling in.
Nice.
If you give it a sniff, you'll be like, oh, it's nutmeg. Right? Yeah.
It smells like Christmas.
Smells like Christmas.
Right.
Smells like the fall, Thanksgiving, all of that. Yeah.
Can you get that at the supermarket? Just like fresh nutmeg?
Yeah.
Well, it's like an organic market or like
no, just a regular grocery store.
Like
a regular decent grocery store. They're only going to sell what the people are going to use, so you can find it in most grocery stores. Believe it or not, I got that out of Walmart, Wally World.
That makes sense because I do get like basil leaves, like mints, like certain things from Walmart specifically that I don't see at like.
So they try to cater to
something.
everybody.
Right.
Yeah. All right, so we're just going to take our fork and whisk our eggs up while our pans are warming up. And while you're whisking, tell me about how you got started in the performing arts.
I am obviously from a very artistically inclined family.
Indeed you are.
So it's one of, I always tell this story in this way because my dad would always say he didn't like have that TV moment like you're watching some sitcom and the parent walks past the shower and they're like, oh, my child can sing. Like it wasn't really like that. Like he was like, I just kind of figured y'all could sing because like we all could sing.
Okay.
So I think for him the next level up moment was, how can I always put them in opportunities that can better them? Okay. So my older brother Deshaun, when he used to start singing groups in middle school, his teacher was like, my son goes to this performing arts school and your son is always organizing something music. Like, you should look into this school. And it was called the North Boys Chorus School. Okay. And Deshaun started that midway through like 6th grade. Mm-hmm. And then, like, we just kind of followed. So, like, I went from 4th grade up. Then Karen, my younger brother, went from 4th grade up. So that's where music and performing and arts kind of started, I guess.
You're currently on tour?
Currently on tour.
I'm going to get back to the performing arts.
Yeah.
You toured with the North Boys Chorus.
Yes.
So
this is good, right?
That is perfect. So I have a surprise show and tell.
Oh, my God.
So when you were with the North Boys Chorus, believe it or not...
Why am I nervous?
Don't be nervous. It's not embarrassing.
Okay, great.
We're not going to bribe you with it. But you guys actually went to, was it Russia?
Yep.
You went to Russia to sing and perform.
Yep.
Guess what we still have?
Did I get that?
You bought that for your auntie as a gift.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't have time to dig out. You bought me a little Fabergé egg.
Nice.
And we still have it. Can you believe that? How long ago was this?
That's amazing. I was in 6th grade, I want to say. So, you know, like, not that I'm old or whatever.
Like you're 25 now.
Right. like many, many moons ago, we'll say. You know, like, yeah.
But yeah,
wow. Thank you for keeping that.
Oh,
that was
yeah,
a good
for
time.
sure.
I wish I remember more of that trip.
So you got started traveling and touring early on.
Like, to the point where I don't remember everything.
That
It's
you
crazy.
don't remember. But that was singing.
Singing.
Now, how did you progress past that?
I knew that...
So we're going to multitask here.
Yes, please.
So pass me the brown sugar,
Yes.
the pecans, and the lemons. We're going to bring our bread in for dredging for our French toast, and we're going to keep moving and shaking.
Yeah.
So how did you progress past singing to just full-on performing?
Yeah. So I think that when I went to school, middle school, music was like life. And then like by the time we got to high school, I went to Arts High and Nora kept doing the performing music thing. And by the end, I was just like, okay, here are the career paths. You could be a choir director, like your teacher. You could be an accompanist. You could be a voice teacher, whatever. And I just kind of knew that wasn't what I wanted. It felt like a dead end or just like not really exciting to me. So I was like, what else can I do? God, and that's the technique for that. Great. And yeah, mine too. So then we went for it, and I went to college. I said, I'm going to go undeclared. And I'll figure it out when I get there. So I picked Montclair State because they had a lot of major options. That was really the main part. Like, they didn't even give me the most scholarship money. It just was like, they have a lot of major options. It's not far from home. So, like, Christmas and Thanksgiving, I don't have to get on a plane or a train to get there. I can just, like, Daddy, come get me. And it was the best decision I ever made. And I found dance when I got there because I was like, I want to try because I think I could do it. I kind of feel like I could be good at it, but I won't know until I try. And I don't want to be 30 and look back and wish I tried. And like missed out on like a different life. So
you went right to dance, or was it something else first? Like
no, it was music, middle school, high school. Then dance was like freshman year of college. And I took one class, first semester, fell in love, was like the best person in the class out the gate, and I was like, okay, I'm supposed to do this. So I just kind of kept going.
All right. So now we're gonna flip our French toast.
Great.
Make sure it's cooked.
One for you. Or both for me? That for me. Yeah. That's perfect.
Perfect.
Good timing.
Can you flip mine too?
Yes,
if you
I
don't
can.
mind. So I'm working on our sauce, our topping for our peach cobbler French toast. So we have some butter, real butter. No skinny people here. Some brown sugar. We're going to use cinnamon. We're going to toast our pecans. Splash of lemon juice. We have that cinnamon and nutmeg.
Yep.
We're going to combine our flavors throughout. Keep an eye on that. Yep. Oh.
Like a literal restaurant here.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
And then we're on to the next one. We're going to keep it going.
Yeah. Yeah, I've like done interviews in the past, and I'm used to like the switchery moment. So in my head, I'm like, wait, I have a question. I'm like, nope, this is not me. Like this, like it's not you. Killing it. Ah.
That is our liquid for that.
That smells so good too.
Put this on a simmer. The lemon juice is to cut through all of the sweetness and brighten this up a little bit, because otherwise it will kind of be like praline pecan.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It'll be like that. It'll just be so sweet. Then we're going to toss our peaches in there.
Yes.
On top of that. And that will be our topping for our French toast.
Nice.
So back to performing.
Yeah.
So when you were in school, did you do school performances?
At Montclair State?
At Montclair State.
Well, like throughout the way, yeah. So like Montclair State, I became a dance major after my freshman year because it just was like, I'm going to want to keep doing this and I need to graduate on time because who has money to be in school for X amount of years just like doing what I want. So I was like, okay, I'll be a dance major. I remember calling my dad the day I got into the program, spring semester of my freshman year, and he was like, oh, yeah, dance, that's new, it's different. Like, is that it?
He didn't see that coming?
Like, no. Because, I mean, music was everything. Like, that was what we did. So then, I was like, oh, no. Do I need a little more grease for this, maybe?
Nope.
Okay.
Non-stick.
And he was like, okay, cool. I was like, I'm going to double major. I'll find something. So I ended up going with communication studies. So technically my degree is in communication studies. Because, I finished both programs, but they only let you pick one. Like, actual piece of paper in the end. So I went with communications because you don't need a dance degree to dance. So yeah, that was a logic.
So why'd you pursue the dance degree if you don't need the degree to dance? Just to know it?
Training.
Training.
Because I started in college. So I was like, I don't know anything. I have to learn. And this is what I'm going to learn. So yeah. Okay. So finishing the program was worth it.
Any singing in college or not really?
Funny enough, that's how I found musical theater. My last year we did, the musical theater program did a chorus line. And I was a dance major. So essentially, you can do both programs, but it was a little easier for a guy because it didn't have a lot of boys. So any boy who wanted to do both could do both.
Okay.
So I did the chorus line. I auditioned. I was just trying to be a dancer in the back. I really wasn't trying to have a part. I was like, yeah, I can sing, but I honestly just want to hit the little thing in the back. Like, we're cute, we're done, we did it. Like, I had that credit. And the department chair who was directing the show was like, you could actually play this part. And I don't have anybody in my program that could play this part. And I was like, I really don't want a part. And he was like, you're going to do this part. And thank God he was pushy because it kind of changed my life. Like, I don't think I would be here in Atlanta doing Moulin Rouge if that teacher back in 2012 was like, yeah, you have what it takes. You have the potential. We will spoon feed you the lines of how to say it, how to act it. You already have the dancing and the singing. That's all you need. And I was like, okay. So I'm very grateful because it really did change my trajectory in a very important way.
You mentioned acting. How do you remember those lines?
How do I mean, there's so many different techniques out there and ways to do it. For me,
is that something they teach you, or you just do your own thing?
I mean, they'll teach you for example, there's a technique called by rote or by route where you just read the lines with no emotion, no energy, no anything. You just say the lines, and that kind of helps you get it in your head, but that also helps you not sort of have any right away preconceived choices with the lines. Okay. You just are kind of saying it, and that repetition gets it in your brain. But for me, I'm just somebody who just continually says it in the moment, and eventually it clicks and drops in. So what the lines are in my brain, but also what feels like the choice I want to make with the line. Okay. That's kind of what works for me. Yeah.
Did you know in college, after college, I'm going to pursue this? Did you I'm going to keep going with this, or that's
musical
done?
Theater. No, I was prepping in those years to be in some dance company. It was I'm going to graduate and be, I guess, the outlet after getting a dance degree is you go join a modern dance company in the city. So that was my thought. Mm-hmm. So when I found musical theater, it was so cool because I was like, oh, I've always sang. I don't have to stop singing. Now I can do both. Wait, and you make more money technically doing this? Sign me up. I don't have to be some broke artist in New York because that really wasn't the vibe for me. I was like, I'll do it if I have to, but it wasn't the moment, as they say. So
starving artist wasn't your thing.
I would have survived it for a couple years, but I probably would have. That was communication studies. I would have found some probably administrative hustle and may have been I did it. But after college, I kind of knew performing was the goal to start. Okay. The young years while the legs are still working, we'll do it now, and then we'll see how far we can get. I didn't think I would be 4 Broadway shows later, kind of a thing, but it's really cool to think
4 Broadway shows.
Yeah, Moulin Rouge is technically my 4th Broadway level show. We'll say haven't necessarily done the show on Broadway, but it's a Broadway show, and my tour is the top tier of contracts, so that's cool.
So here we're gonna sample this. This is our peach cobbler topping. Tell me what you think.
Yes, I would love to. Here we go. Put a little nut in there too. Why not? Wow. That's literally Broadway, as they say.
That's Broadway?
That's Broadway. Yeah. Wow, okay. Very good.
The Great White Way?
If nothing else, yeah.
Well, we are going to finish up this French toast, and we will be back to sit down and dig into this brunch in a hot second. We'll be right back. Heavy whipping cream, about 1 cup. So make sure you get heavy whipping cream. Uh-huh. Regular milk won't work. And heavy whipping cream, as you whip it, it gets thicker. Uh-huh. If you whip it too much, guess what you have? Butter.
Ah.
So if you whip it and it starts to turn yellow, you're going too far to stop. Yeah. So we're going to add our whipped cream. we're making whipped cream, so we want some flavor. So we're going to add about a half a teaspoon per cup powdered sugar.
Nice.
Powdered sugar actually has a bit of cornstarch in it. It's going to help stiffen.
Ah.
And then
you really just eyeball most of this. Like you're
and
just
a splash of vanilla for additional flavor. And we're using our Ninja-ish, what you use for like your smoothies.
Yeah. Like a magic bullet kind of thing.
Like a magic bullet. And once it's plugged in, you can turn it on and make your and make your
that's an important step. Yeah.
So just gonna let it whip. We're gonna stop, give it a chance to aerate a little bit. Everything's blend in, and then just gonna let it go. And then once you see it start to stick around the edge,
That's it.
That's it. Most people use a mixer in a bowl, going around and around, getting 50. But if you need a small amount, this is good.
You'll just see it like rise?
Yeah, you'll see it get fluffy. So, you can see it getting thicker and foamier. And then you keep going. And before you know it, you'll have some whipped cream.
And like, do you have like the whole like thing, spray and all this stuff, like to make it fancy?
Oh yeah, not spray, but so that's a different thing. But we can put it in a pastry bag. And,
Technique.
Yeah, if you want to do that. So you can see it's getting thicker.
Yeah. Oh wow.
That was our churning moment.
So this would actually turn yellow.
As you
Like
can
butter.
Yeah. So let's see.
That's crazy. Oh yeah, no, that's it.
Whipped
Oh
cream.
wow. It looks like ice cream.
It's like ice cream. We made whipped cream just like that. How about that? Like who knows?
Like what?
Right?
Like okay, it's like heavy cream.
Yeah. And
A little vanilla. It really does look like ice cream though. It looks really good.
all right.
Wow.
Thank you for helping me prepare this amazing lunch.
I mean, this is literally you. Like, this is all you. I'm
the
like,
way you sprinkled that parsley. Oh, amazing.
Nailed it, right? Like, again, that's Broadway.
But yeah, everything
Broadway.
looks amazing. Here, let's top off our mimosas with a little blood orange juice. It's not really blood, but it's just raspberry oranges.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna give them a squeeze, add some additional flavor. Yeah. And whenever you're ready, you can dig into either or. So we're gonna try these shrimp and grits. Now on the grits, we have a white cheddar and smoked Gouda cheese mixed in.
In the grits.
In the grits. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Literally just came from NOLA, and this is like, I feel like I'm still there.
You feel like you're back?
Right,
You
I'm
just
like
went back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good stuff. That is very good stuff.
You surprised yourself.
Yeah. I'm surprised at how good this is. Yeah. Very good.
So, question for you.
Uh-oh. Question for me. This is not that show, but go right ahead.
Can I get one? Just one golden one.
As many as you like.
So, when did you realize cooking was a passion enough to like continue pursuing it further?
So what happened for me is when I was in, first of all, I went to the Culinary Institute of Louise. So I grew up watching my mother cook, but the thing that struck me the most about watching her cook was I saw how personal it was,
Right.
and what it created,
Right.
the moments and the memories and all of that it created, and all that surrounded just having a good meal with your family is what did it for me. So that's what started me to love cooking, because for me, if somebody asks me what does cooking mean to you, cooking is love. That's what it means to me. And so that's how I see that. And so my passion for cooking came when I tried to, I got approved to be a fast food restaurant franchisee, but the whole thing didn't go through. And so I just like, you know what, I'm just going to do my own thing. And so that's what started me to, I want to learn about cooking. And I didn't necessarily want to go to cooking school or culinary school, but I just had a passion for it. And that was that thing that, when I made a meal, people said, I liked it, this is good. And I was always my harshest critic, but yeah, I thought
It's
I had
almost like
something.
that no makes room for like what's
Yeah.
supposed to be a yes.
What it's supposed to
like
be,
this
so
is the version of it you're supposed to
This
do.
is what it's supposed to be for me.
Right.
So yeah, I think I found my happy place. Yeah.
I love those moments. It's almost like those pivot moments in life where like the shift happens.
Yeah.
And I think being an artist, so much of our journey is naturally that you have to be okay with it. So I'm like, I just hearing the fact that you were okay with it, you found your groove, like is very inspiring. It really
yes.
is.
So I would encourage anybody, if you're looking for your passion,
Right.
just keep looking for it. And
You might already have it.
Yeah, when you find it, you'll know. It's gonna come to you. The aha moment will happen for you personally. The lights will come on. You're like, this is great. This is it. I think this is it. So yeah. So back to you.
You're yelling at yes.
When you got done with college,
Yep.
what was the first performance? First Broadway performance that you got booked for?
So when it's so funny because like the industry is annoying in this way. It sets it up where everything is so categorized. So like I did the musical or chorus line in college, and that was the one that was like, oh my gosh, like I can do this thing called musical theater. Then I went on tour that fall after I graduated with the exact same show in the exact same role. So it felt like this meant to be serendipitous kind of thing, where the one thing I knew how to do well in the musical theater lane was kind of like my first catapulting job.
Oh, okay.
But is that like Broadway? Like no, like I didn't do it on like the stage in New York. Like it was a tour. So to answer the question specifically, because like there are tours, there's Broadway, there's regional theater. My first Broadway show, I made my debut in a show called Tuck Everlasting.
Okay.
Which is a crazy story too. I feel like I'm just full of crazy stories. But
Let's hear it.
So I moved to New York in the spring of 2016 for the first time. I finished like 2 tours, and I was like, okay, it's time to go to New York and like try to do the New York thing, like full out. We're not gonna leave. We're gonna stay. So I had auditioned for the show Tuck Everlasting in the fall. I got cut from the audition process at somewhere along the way. I don't know when, but didn't think anything of it because you get cut all the time, right? Like that's the nature of it. You get cut, you keep going. So in the spring, I moved to the city. I get calls back in because a friend recommended me, I guess. I got a Facebook message one day, like, you're going to get an audition appointment for this show called Tuck Everlasting. We need a replacement. We need, like, one black guy, specifically a black guy, because you'd be replacing the black guy's track. LOL. The videos are on YouTube. Go watch them. Remind yourself of the combo if you've been in for the show. It's going to come soon. I was like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I was like, okay, thanks, girl. So fast forward to a couple hours later, an email comes in, audition appointment. This may have been like a Wednesday, let's say, and it was like for a Friday. So I go in, kill it, make it all the way to the end. I'm like one of 4 boys left to sing. And I go home, I call out of work that night. I'm like, I'm about to make my Broadway debut. Like, I'm about to get the phone call. Like, I'm not going to work. Like, let's go get drinks. Okay. Wake up the next morning, still no phone call. I go on Facebook. I see, like, a mutual friend post a video, like, at my shoe fitting for Tuck Everlasting. I'm like, oh, I didn't get it. Let me get dressed and go to work. Yeah, so I definitely was like, la, la, la. 2 weeks later, I get a phone call. Woke up out of my sleep, like, 9 a.m. Like, you got it. Like, we need you to come today. Like, can you start at noon today?
Wow.
I'm running down the hall. I call my mom, my dad. I wake up my roommates. It was, like, so great. And I learned the show in less than a week, and I was on stage and doing it.
Wow. What was that like when you stepped on Broadway the very first time? Do you get to enjoy that? Is it overwhelming?
Okay.
Or are you focused on, I need to get this step right?
All of that. Like, you enjoy it. For me, I think I felt like, because my situation was so specific, and because it was like, we need you to get it and get it right and be on stage, like, they were fortunate enough that I was trained enough and good enough, and on top of my technique and my performance, that, like, I jumped right in. Okay. But essentially, it was crazy, because it was like, I'm navigating a million notes. I did these rehearsals in less time than they expected, so they was like, well, what else can we give them now? How much better can we get them right away? So they were like pushing me and pushing me and pushing me, and I mean, I nailed it, I'm not gonna lie. But did I enjoy it? Yes. Was I thinking and was I in the moment? Yes. Was I just trying to get it right? Yes. Okay. I don't know if I really enjoyed it until the show actually opened, because I joined during what's called previews. So they were still in their preview process where the show's changing every day. You're getting a million notes. The creative team is like switching and fixing and stuff like that.
Is there an audience doing the previews?
There are.
Okay.
Yeah. So like it's like almost like test audiences, kind of like a TV film thing. So it was nice to have that padding to like do it during previews and like make my debut during previews, so that when opening night came, I really got to feel like then I was enjoying it. If that makes sense.
When after the first one or after the second one, do you feel like, oh, I made it, I'm doing this, or do you like, okay, how do I book the next thing?
Oh, you're always feeling that.
Always feeling that.
It's funny. I describe the pandemic as this amazing time where, as a performer, especially on Broadway, you feel like you're on a hamster wheel. And you feel like you're running, and you're just trying to get the next job. You're just trying to book the next thing. And the pandemic happened and all that stopped. So like back in that moment, pre-pandemic, when I was making my debut and doing the show, absolutely, I was in the show enjoying it, but I was absolutely multitasking and like hitting my agent up, being like, oh, this creative team that I'm working with right now is also doing this show. Can you get me in for that? Like, can you get me in for the next thing? Because my first show was a limited time for me because I was replacing a guy who got injured. So once he was healed, he was coming back for his spot. So
no
I
chance
was leaving.
You to stay for the understudy? You're like, you're out. Wow.
They were like, you're out. But 2 weeks after booking that, I booked my second show, which was Cats. So like God was like, no, I got you. You're fine. And boop, boopy doop. Like I like literally didn't even miss a pay week. The show just happened to close early the Sunday before we started rehearsal for Cats. So closed the show Sunday, had a day off Monday, started Cats on Tuesday. Just back to back to back. It was kind of incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you dance in the big outfits in Cats?
You don't even want. I mean, it's like a unitard, so it's like it's not really that big, but it's.
The how it looks is not what it is.
No, like it's just like a thin piece of material, like a skin tight unitard, but you're crawling.
Okay.
So that's the hard part, and your knees are shot. So like I already feel like I have bad knees, which is not fun. But you know, we do it for the craft, as we say. Yeah.
Bad knees. Mm-hmm. How do you take care of yourself? Like, how do you keep yourself healthy, like mind, body, and spirit, being a performer? How do you do that?
Great question. So for me, I'm a big fan of balance and self-care. And fortunately enough, Moulin Rouge is a fan of it too. So they do give us a health and wellness stipend every month to like pay for some sort of extra care kind of a thing, right? But beyond that, we also have a physical therapist who travels with us. So that's like the physical part of it, of like keeping yourself aligned and like ready for the show. Mentally, it's just like creating good habits. Like being on the road is so difficult, so it's like staying connected with your family and like, you know, journaling or like
not eating like this every day.
I mean, but you kind of have to eat like this at least a couple days. Like, you know what I mean? Like this is a gift, as we say on the road, because you're just eating. You can't always get food like this. So yeah.
Wow. Do you travel with a physical therapist? How about a nutritionist or somebody? No.
No, now that's like special. No, we don't have a nutritionist.
No.
No. You just kind of have to stay on top of it.
Everybody seems so fit. Everybody seems.
Oh yeah, I mean they give us gym memberships, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. I would have. That's something I thought they would have. No. How do you guys?
Got me hot.
How do you avoid injuries? That's just on you.
We don't. Like it happens. And you just kind of have to. I mean, like physical therapy is supposed to be preventative in some way, but like we don't. Like people have been injured and out left and right in the show. Just like that's the truth. The truth. It's hard, and you have to like take care of yourself. Like yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
Hard work. Is it worth it?
Work. It is.
Is it rewarding for you personally?
It is. I don't think that I graduated high school thinking I was gonna be the one to actually go this far. Like I was good. Like I could sing. I was always in the special groups, but I wasn't like the it kid. Like I wasn't the one that was like, you're superlative. It's like most likely to succeed. That wasn't really me. So to be the one that actually has gone this far, it adds to my story in a way that's empowering and exciting. And I'm like constantly challenging myself to see what else I can do. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I ever thought I would make it this far.
I hear the humility in your voice. Do you have to work at that, or it's just like, wow, I didn't think it would be me, so I'm grateful for this? Like, how do you stay humble? Do you work at it?
Yes.
How do you not get the big head?
Yes. I mean, I still to this day, even in like this iteration of my career and my journey, still feel like, for lack of a better way to put it, I'm a nobody. Like, I still feel like I've not done anything. But essentially, like, I know in the back of my head I have. But just by thinking that way and fostering that energy and that mentality, I think it keeps me grounded and it keeps me fighting to be that hard worker, to be the best version I can be.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Oh, yeah, it's like I guess kind of like a mind trick, kind of, but it really is rooted in truth and honesty. Like, I really do want to be great and sure, like big and do all the things, but I'm also okay with, like, if I were to never perform again, or if this is where my journey ends, like, I did it, you know?
Okay.
I'm fortunate enough to know I did it.
Is there a production, one that's out there or one that you're going to create that you're like, you know what, that's the thing I really want to do? Like, if I could get in this, is there something like that?
In terms of theater, not necessarily.
Okay.
Sorry, New York, but in terms of theater, like, I mean, I kind of did. I got to do Hamilton and Cats and Moulin Rouge. Those are like top tier commercial musicals right now. So like, essentially, I've kind of done what's like the pinnacle. So I really want to do TV film. Like, really want to do TV film. Like, I think that I don't need to be like Viola Davis. Like, I don't got to be Denzel Washington. Like, I really understand.
You're okay starting at the bottom, getting your foot in the door.
Yes, and getting as far as I can get, and like being okay with that. Like, I will do 1-2 lines on a Netflix show. Like, like, sign me up. You know, like, that's I'm fine with that.
Have you done any TV at all?
Mainstream, no. Independent projects, yes.
Okay.
So for me, that is the ground up. It's like you make your own thing, or you get into other people's stuff just to get your feet wet, to get the experience, and then ride the wave. You know, whatever comes.
Do you consider musical theater, like, is that acting as well? Is that acting?
Yes, 100%, yeah.
So that's not for me then.
Why, you could do it. Eats the food. You're like, nah, I'm chilling.
Yeah, I'm still surprised how good that is.
So good.
Like
Literally, I'm like, to-go box for sure.
I like the smoked Gouda and the cheese and the white cheddar. Yeah, it's really good. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about music. Mm-hmm. So I remember, I would say, the first time I ever heard you sing, it was at church, but I'm like, so where's the guy for the record deal? Like, what are they waiting on? But I think I was just amazed and surprised at how well you could sing. Like, I heard your father sing a ton of times, but I was like really surprised. Like, yeah, sure, I could probably sing, but I didn't know he could sing like that. Mm-hmm. So do you have plans for music?
Shockingly, no. Like, I think it'd be fun, and it almost feels like a box I would want to check to like drop a single, just to say I did it. But I don't know if that is a like, I feel like that was the side of it that really my brothers, like Deshaun and Karen, are very like music. Like, I
definitely Deshaun.
I do think that we all have sort of music interests and skills that make us different and like good at it. But I think for me, I don't know if I'm like that. It's been like something I've used in musical theater mainly. Love to sing. Pursuing music in any other form, like, I don't know. I mean, it'd be cool, but
just so you know, I saved one rap verse, like the 90s, for your hook when your single comes out. And if you're doing something else, I got background singles. It's definitely going to give you male chorus vibe, but that's okay.
FMBT male chorus.
It's going to give you male chorus vibe, but that's okay. That's hot right now. You just don't know.
That's the moment.
That's
right. Stay tuned.
Keep me in mind when you go that route.
Yeah, no, music is always going to be a part of the family, the life, the moment, you know, like music's always going to be there.
Dance. This is a hard-hitting question. Who's a better dancer, you or your father?
Like, not me sweating. I mean, me, like, hands down, you know, like, they got the moves. Like, I helped them with a couple, like, praise dances here and there, you know what I mean? Like, I got mom and dad together for the liturgical dance debut. You know, I said, Mom, point your toes, you know, get your leg up. You know, she found her way. Like, they had an era, their praise dance era. You know, it came and went, though. It came and went, yeah.
Time is done.
Yeah.
Do you have anything planned for dance in the future? Like, specifically dance?
Not really.
No? It's all mixed in with musical theater?
For me, it's like I'll do it as long as I can do it. Right now, I'm really in a period where like any sort of project that comes across my desk, in a sense, I really want it to be something that speaks to me now. I'm a little less worried about like book the next job or like I used to have this thing when I first started out that I wanted to do 7 Broadway shows. And for no other reason than 7 was my favorite number. Like, that's all it was. That's all it was. What? But now I'm like, oh, you do 1, you did it. Like, you really don't need to do all that unless you're, like, happy. And, like, it's really the thing. And Broadway's hard. I feel like I've done it. I'm kind of like, I'm okay for a little bit. Like, if the right project comes up, let's hit it. Let's do it.
Saying that, do you get to be selective now because you've done it?
Yes.
I mean, knowing what it is, I'm not doing that. No, not doing that.
Yeah.
Sign me up for that.
Kinda, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's the beauty of being this far along.
And with touring, is it the same thing? When those opportunities come, do you say, no, definitely not that, definitely not that, maybe this?
Like in terms of like if I get touring auditions?
So you still have to audition for tours?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you audition for everything. Unless you're Viola Davis. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, like we're always going to constantly be getting seen for. Well, I will say when you know teams and creatives and people who are working and out there and they like you and you're kind of in their camp, like in their family, like, you know, dance family, it is a little easier. So like I am in a couple dance families or in enough families where like I could send an email or tell my agent to like submit me for this one project because I know that person. So like we are in a good spot in that way.
So you just said you have an agent.
Yes.
Do you have to have an agent?
Yes and no. Like it depends on what you want to do. Like there are people in my show right now that don't have agents or managers or representation, and they're like they got the job. Like you don't have to. It helps though. Like it helps you to get into like rooms and doors that you can't get into.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So I found out recently that well, no. Tell me about some things about touring that people might not know. Like I found out that you might get it per diem, but you still might have to book your own stay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought everybody's on a tour bus, you travel together, the bus pulls up and people get off the bus and you have the manual labor people carry your stuff in.
Right.
And
No, it's not that bougie, although like there are some parts of that are bougie but not. Our tour is what's called a production contract, which is like the top level of contract you can get in the status of tours. So examples like we fly everywhere. Like we don't do like the bus unless it's like we're in Texas and we're going from Houston to Dallas, and then we'll do a bus. And even then you have the option of getting on the bus or not. But there's like always technically options that they can offer you and set up for you, but you can take it or not. So in terms of like the housing and stuff, we get a per diem that covers housing and food, and they'll offer us certain options. Like here are the 3 hotel options for Atlanta. Let us know by this date which one you want, or if you're going to choose your own. So then like you go the route of like, what do you want to do? Like you kind of calculate. The goal is always as an artist to save money. So it's like, how can I live conveniently where I can walk to work? I'm not like on a scooter or like taking a car every day because that's money. Do I have a kitchen so I can cook? And you know, it's like lining up those options. So that's what's cool about it. Yeah.
so wow, so people like me have the wrong idea about touring. It's just so it's not as glamorous as what I thought.
I mean, I think for like
it's glamorous,
like there are parts that and versions kind of that are right.
Like
some
you
people
say,
have that, but
I need to be close so I can walk to work. Like walk to work? You're on stage. They don't sit in the car.
New York, we walk everywhere.
Wow. Okay. Well, yeah. Wow. What else don't I know about touring?
So funny.
What are some good things about touring, and what are some things that, if you knew this, maybe you might not tour?
God, that's a good question. I think what people don't know is like on what's called an equity tour or a union tour, we get what's called trunks. So like it's not like you're bound to like 2 suitcases in a dream and like just figure out how to get all your stuff and don't ever accumulate stuff. We get a trunk that they travel for us. So like I have like my 2 large suitcases, like my book bag, my like carry-on, and like I also have a trunk that has like appliances, like if you have like an air fryer you want to travel, or humidifier, or like winter jacket, or like, you know, things like that. So that's kind of nice. They pay for you to ship stuff twice a year, which is cool. They give you a mental health stipend. Our show does. So we get like $1,500 a year towards mental health, I believe, which is pretty great. I feel like that number feels high, but we'll say it's that number. the health and wellness stipend, like I said before, like here's X amount of dollars every month to go get a massage, go get cryotherapy, go get an IV drip to feel better, like, you know. So that's cool. Downsides, you're constantly traveling. You're constantly packing your stuff, unpacking, packing your stuff. Like, the 2 weekers are a little rough. Because once you get comfortable and get settled and you finally feel like you're in the rhythm of the city, it's time to pack up and leave. Which is like, either you like that lifestyle or you don't.
Do you like it? Oh, no.
I have enjoyed it. I've never done a tour that's on this level, so I think the perks and the benefits are really cool. And to experience, like, that part of it and being a part of a show that's well known and being an original cast member of this company is also a nice little, like, feather in your cap. Okay. But I am at a place with touring where I'm like, okay, we did it. What's next? Like, I knew I had to fight to stay longer, literally for this moment. Because I was like, well, I have family down south. Like, we're going. It's perfect. Like, finally get to go. So I was like, I definitely have to do longer than a year.
How long has this been on tour?
We started rehearsing in January of 2022.
Wow.
And then the year mark of performances was March 19th.
So you've been just traveling for the whole year?
Since about, like, early February of last year.
Yikes.
Right, like, this is our 15th city, I want to say.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could be hard. What's the shortest stay and what was the longest stay?
We're lucky. Our shortest stay is 2 weeks. Our longest has been 2 months.
You stayed in one spot 2 months?
For 2 months, yeah. So last year, we've kind of lived... We're lucky. The first year, the original cast members, we've lived what I think is like the magical like moments of touring. Like we were in like LA for 2 months, then San Francisco right after that for 2 months. Like you can't beat that.
You can't beat
in terms of like touring schedule. But you know there are other equity tours out there that don't have that. So we are fortunate.
So the next round of people that get cast, you think the tour? We got to make some money. Like in a week here, we're gonna make this money.
100%. It's like. You're going to Buffalo in the dead of winter? Have fun with that. Like, I'm gonna be over here. Yeah, they're definitely already, you know... Oh, spoiler alert, that's a city. I don't even know if that's announced, but they're going to Buffalo.
Wow.
Yeah, it gets tricky later, after like by the fall, so...
And your contract, is it for the whole thing? Do you have to stay the whole thing? Like, how does that work for the people that are in the show?
Good question. It's... I want to say it the right way. For me specifically, it's like you stay as long as you want to stay. But there are contract lengths, like a year or 6 months, that you can lock yourself into and be like, for 6 months, I'm here. And they'll pay you like a little bump over like your pay rate. Or you can do what's called the 4-week out, which is anything could pop up, and I give you 4 weeks notice, I'm leaving, and I go. So there are those are the options.
Oh.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Because it's like, let me know now if you're going to stay for another year. Let me know now if 6 months is like in your soul. And you really have to think about it and be like, wow, I've already been doing this for a year. Do I have another year in me, you know?
Yeah, I don't... 4-week option.
It's very nice. Yeah.
I'm
that's
giving you the 4 week, my 4 weeks notice.
Yeah, just be ready, you know? Just be ready for when I jump, you jump, you know?
Yeah. Wow. Mm-hmm. So you're currently touring Moulin Rouge. Mm-hmm. What is that all about? Like, some people don't know the story of Moulin Rouge and where it's set and who's your character? Who do you play? I know you're getting there. So I'm hitting you with all the questions so I can eat.
Yeah. It's... Let's do this. Come like the camera. Sweating. It's just like good eating. Okay. Moulin Rouge. It's literally the movie. Like Nicole Kidman, Moulin Rouge movie. So it's literally that with like a couple twists and remixes. So I, for example, play Pierre, which is like the guy who owns the club's boyfriend who like basically snitches on the lead character that she's in a romantic relationship with another guy and kind of like unravels the entire scenario of saving the club. So in a strange way, I'm a big part of the plot. But in a technical actor performance way, I have like 0 speaking lines. So it's like, how can you say everything without saying anything?
So you get to be messy without saying that.
100%. So it was a challenge for me because it was a role that like, in its inception, wasn't really set up like a role. Like it's a part of the storyline, but like I think the original actors saw it more as like a feature bit than like a thing. And by the time I joined the show and they started the tour, they had remixed how they tracked, like, and placed people into parts, and they made it more of a role in and of itself. So, like, I'm used to just dancing. Like, I'm used to being like, I'm a dance, I'm gonna hit the step, and like, that's where I thrive. So with this, it was like, no, you're this, and you don't dance as much because you're this. And for me, I was like, I didn't ask for that, though. Like, that's not what I signed up for when I auditioned. That's not what y'all told me. So I got to rehearsal, and that's what it was. And I had a choice. So it's like, either you're gonna lean into this, let this be your challenge, and help you grow, or you're gonna be annoyed and upset on the road and be miserable for a year. Like that contract conversation, I signed for the year the first time.
Okay.
Because we all had to. So I made the best of it. And it's been great. Because I really have leveled up the role in the way that's so unique and so one of a kind that our producers always come and compliment me. Because I always like, if we make a sequel, it's going to be called Pierre the Musical. Because you're just like giving a 3-act, it's a thing. So like I'm pretty iconic in it. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah.
So the way you leaned into it, did it? How did it help you as a performer grow?
For me, I had never gotten a part in a show. I think that's not true. I'll say it this way. I think any feature part I've had in a musical had a speaking line or had a to-do or had their own number. So to be in this thing that feels smaller and so secondary, but like when you watch it, friends and people will be like, when I watch it, they say your character's name more than they say some of the like feature characters' names who do have lines. So it's like, I definitely know who you are. Like, and like what you're doing with it is so, it made me think, okay, I could really make something of this and make my presence known, because like for me, it was like, I want the creative team to leave this and be like, we know exactly who Sharrod is and what he can do.
Okay.
And I leaned into that, which was the challenge of it, because it wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't something I didn't know if I could do. But I had done enough things in my career by that point to know how to approach it and get somewhere and know that the rest will fall into place.
Okay.
Because as somebody who didn't go to school for acting, I don't have the like by the book full toolkit. I have like a couple things in my toolkit that I've learned from watching people and asking questions and maybe taking like a one-off class here and there in New York. So that's a different way of working.
Yeah.
So, but by that point with this, I was like, okay, I know what to do with this. I kind of know like I'm going to bring Sharrod to it, and then like just the rest will kind of evolve over the year. And that's exactly what's happened. So it's cool.
I like it. I promise when we come to see it, we won't scream and throw stuff at the stage and we won't do any of that.
I mean, like, honestly, we kind of love it. Like, the more you do it, the better. It's like, if you're screaming, it's that kind of show.
Okay.
It's like all pop music, recognizable songs. Like, she sings like Firework, and the Single Ladies is in there, It's,
Really?
It's that kind of a show. So, like, if you scream, honestly,
so it's definitely modern.
100%.
Okay.
The music side of it.
The music side. I was going to say, how do they keep the historical, it being in the CD side of...
Story. That's the story side of it.
That's the story side of it. Okay.
Somehow it works.
It works?
Somehow it works.
I like it. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited. What else you got going on? What else you working on? Oh, you mentioned in Tuck Everlasting, you were replacing the black guy.
Right.
Is musical theater, Broadway, and all that like that for people of color?
Yes. It is historically built on like whiteness, and it is still very much like present in the system, and it'll always sort of feel like there's never enough room made for people of color, not just black people. And I think that it is a ongoing like progression that is getting better. But yes, it is like that. It is you're used to going to see shows and seeing maybe one black girl, maybe one black guy in the ensemble. That's where they max out. So like my Broadway debut was very much that. There was one black girl, and I was the one black guy. There was no other black characters, no black leads, none of it.
Wow. So aside from the color purple or something that's
exactly
black,
that's made for black people, like by black, right?
Wow.
That's how it is. It's gotten better. Like, for example, Moulin Rouge is a show that historically has had people of color in it. And it honestly works better when that is the case, in my opinion. Just like the style of movement and the worlds and the thing. Like, you want all colors, shapes, sizes, all of it. So like our cast right now is very diverse, which is wonderful. Like it's helped my experience even to be like I have like there are 3 black girls on stage with me every night, and like 4 black guys, like including me. Like that makes a difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's better. Like I won't say it's like the best it's gonna get, but it is better.
Are there more Broadway or even just musical theater being written for black people or by black people?
Yeah.
There's a lot coming.
Yeah. We have like, I mean, they don't do well enough to stay.
Yeah.
Granted, you can argue like, well, nothing's staying. Like some things are staying, but like a new play like by a black person, like there was a whole campaign in the fall around the show called Ain't No Mo that just didn't, because they were trying to like save it and keep it going, but it was like a black show, but it just didn't, it doesn't quite.
Why do you think people don't support it in that way?
Because of like how the system, it's like people come for stuff they recognize, like a name of a show that is classic that we've always known. We know Guys and Dolls, we know Hello Dolly, we know those staple kind of classic shows. They're gonna come for that, right? If a tourist comes to New York, they're gonna pick something like Cats or Phantom of the Opera over Ain't No Mo because they trust a name that's been there. I know what
that is.
Yes, they trust the whiteness. They trust that, you know what I mean? Like, getting new progressive things on stage is always wonderful, but it's, like, difficult to make it last.
Do you think people look at color in musical theater differently? Like, oh, that's the great white way. I don't want to see these people over here shucking and jiving.
Yes. They won't ever say it out loud, especially the people who control Broadway, but yes. Yes. Wow. And you would think, like, with the revolutionary type shows that are built on people of color, like Hamilton and shows like that, like, it would change the landscape. It has, but I don't think that it has changed it in the way that it should. Like, it's more like we're going to try to replicate or do what Hamilton did, as opposed to be like, what else is new? Who is that other, like, underrepresented voice that has, like, a great story that we want to, like, put money behind and, like, amplify? Like, it's never that. Yes. It's just like, let's make our business model just like Hamilton and try to compete. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a different approach.
That's tough.
It's tough. And it takes the air out of things, right? It takes the air out of, like, why do I do this? Like, I do it because, like, I love it. But then you get in the system part of it can taint your experience. And where we're just like,
the behind the scenes.
Right.
And you're like, ah.
Like, actually, again, I did one show, I did it. Like, I might be kind of good. Yeah.
Wow. That's hard. Mm-hmm. That's really hard.
Yeah.
Wow. What else you got going on?
I mean, I'm honestly, this eats up most of my life. So, like, other than, like, my web series that, like, is now a TV show on this platform called Reverie, which is cool. Show? I guess essentially now I have a TV show, which is kind of insane.
Are you in it?
I am in it. I, like, star in it. And I still feel like it was just this fun little side thing that was supposed to be nothing, that's now something, and you have to try to honor it in a way that is that. But for me, it's just like I take it as like a stepping stone towards whatever I'm supposed to do next, which I do feel like in my gut is outside of musical theater, and I do feel like it's in like a space like a TV film kind of space. But I feel like that could be so many things. Like, stuff like this I love. Like, I even want to have a podcast one day. I feel like it'd be so fun to have, like, conversations.
I really enjoy just talking to people.
Right. I feel like it'd be so fun. Yeah. So this is almost like another little step of, like, okay, maybe we gotta... Yeah, like, maybe you have to really look into, like, what would it mean to get a couple mics and, like, some headphones, like, just, like, chat? Like, what is that, Yeah.
Yeah. You can let us know it's down and dirty about the performing arts.
Like, what's it really like? Do they really like black people? No.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you can't tell. You can't really tell what it's really like.
Oh, like performing?
Performing. Yeah. But I think people just want to know, like, what that's really like, aside from, what you see on stage.
Right.
Like, how is it for the cast and the crew, and, like, you never hear anything about the crew.
Right.
Like, so... I'm backtracking.
Yeah.
So when you guys travel, the crew is for whatever location or whatever venue?
We have a mix. So we have a crew that travels with us, and we have a crew that is supplemented into the show every location we go to. So there's like a local crew and like a traveling crew. Yeah. Oh. Okay. So like you guys have locals here, for example, that'll come and work every show at the Fox, and they'll join us. But like the Fox apparently is like a strange theater where they like, because we've gotten these, not like it's apparently beautiful, but like I've never been, but we're getting a lot of emails now about technical stuff. Like the backstage is small and different, so we have to like use an underpass to get from stage left to right. All of our changing spots are very different. So this would shake people up. I'm excited because I think the craziness is fun and it makes it fresh.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, I didn't make my entrance. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like I feel like it's gonna be fun the next 3 days to be like, we're just running around like maniacs and things are happening, and like honestly, touring could be a reality TV show. Like the things that happen socially, or the things that happen like behind the scenes with the show, and like the business side of it, it can be like so messy where people would eat it up. Like I'm like, dag, if I just could have like 3 cameras and like somebody like on the shoulder like Kardashian style, like it really would be something. You would be floored by some of the things that have happened.
Do you guys like what do you call it? Like just keep track of what's happening with your own camera, your own phone, and along the way.
I mean, I had a vlog on YouTube for a second, but like it was like it's a lot of work, a little more work than I wanted to keep up with, honestly, by myself with all the other things. But like if you take videos and stuff for fun, sure, but not anything that's like I can put together a narrative and really give you a true sense of what it is. Like not really that much.
When you guys get somewhere, how much time do you have to rehearse a lot? Like when you get somewhere, because it's a different stage, different venue.
More so because we have what's called swings, which are people who are in the cast that come with us, obviously, and they are there and available if something happens. So if somebody gets sick, like COVID especially, is obviously the new thing. So if somebody has COVID, they're automatically out for anywhere from 7 to 10 days via the protocol. So a swing has to be ready to go in. So we have swings, and they have to rehearse the show because they're not doing it as much as we're doing it as on stage players. So that puts this in rehearsal, and I like understudy a part, so I rehearse sometimes too. So it's very interesting.
You said understudy for her.
For her.
Like who are you understudying?
Oh, I understudy Baby Doll, which is of the. I mean, they're called the Lady M's. In my head, I'm like, big reveal.
Don't say.
I'm in Moulin Rouge, but I have never watched Moulin Rouge straight through like the movie. Like, I know, drag me. No, I tried.
No.
Couldn't do it. But the show's great, and it's funny. You should come see it. But,
not even the remake? Didn't they do another version?
No, not that I know of the movie. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they did, and I just don't know. Wow. But like the Nicole Kidman one, like it was on TV as a kid. Like it's played. I've seen bits and pieces for sure. Like I know exactly what it is, but have I ever sat through and watched the whole thing and I know it, and I can reference it and use it in my approach to the musical?
Absolutely not.
No. Like, and I tried in the beginning in our first city in Chicago. I was like, tonight's the night. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to watch Moulin Rouge. I'm going to be a good actor. 15, 20 minutes in, I was like, this is so camp. And it's like camp in a way that I just don't know if I was like, I don't think I'm going to make it to the end. You know, you start scrolling on TikTok, you're like, I'm not paying attention. That's not good. Don't use that part now.
It's so camp.
It is. It was just very camp. You know, it's like the fairies and the things are running around, they're kicking. I was like, I don't know. It's a little. I don't know. Like I want to get behind it, but I'm like, you know, this is great. So yeah, but I don't even know how I got there. But yes.
Wow. So, but that just goes to show how good you are.
Thank you.
Having not seen all of it. I don't say never watched it.
Right.
You see all of it, but when you watched it, did you get to your character?
Fun fact, my character's not in the movie.
Wow.
So I am an addition to the show. My character is an addition to the show and the plot. Because they took away that plot point from one of what's called the Lady M's. So there's a Lady M called Nini, and she was the one who does what my character does originally. Okay. And I don't know the exact ins and outs of why that is, but I do know that my character comes from the original company on Broadway. One of the ensemble boys had like a fun friendship with one of the lead guys. So it just became like a little bit and a funny thing that somehow made its way into the show that now has grown into being like a thing. And like, I mean, I am proud to say that I'm a part of like it being like a thing now because I've had people actually verbatim say to me it more than once. I've seen the show and I don't remember that plot point as much as I remember it now because of what you're doing with it.
Wow.
Like, it was always there. I'm not doing new things. I'm doing the things that were set in the show originally. But whatever I'm doing with it punches it out more where it's like, oh, he was the one who told on her? Wow, I didn't see that coming. It's like one of those kind of things.
So you set the standard for Pierre.
I like
the
to
new
think
standard.
so. That, period. Very that. Yeah, very that.
Set a new standard for Pierre. So
Yeah.
everybody else get in line.
Yeah.
This is what you should be doing.
Well, yeah. Yeah, no.
I told you earlier, like, we're going to talk food for a second.
Good.
I told you what, you're a confessed non-chef.
Yeah. And after, like, seeing this, I'm like, this is disrespectful, Sharrod. Like, you got to get it together.
Do you like cooking? Oh, okay.
I do. Like, if I knew how to do this, yeah, it's just a time-consuming thing for me.
It is. It is. I told you what food means to me. What does food mean to you?
Love means it. That's what it means to you. I think for me, it means, the first word that came to my mind was comfort. I think beyond that, it means time. Because, I mean, it's just time to sit and have a moment to, like, sit and just, like, ground yourself and, like, stop what you're doing. So I think the artist life, especially for me, I'm always on the go. There's always a million things happening. Like, emails to send, and, like, especially with the show, you're like, okay, I got to book housing for this. I have to set up this, answer this. So that's just my journey in life so much. So food is always the time you get to sit down and, like, unplug and just, like, have a moment to nourish yourself. So I think that's why. It's, like, comfort and time.
When you're on the road, do you look for food, places, and all of that?
Yeah, I mean, that's like the top tier thing to do on like your things to do list in every city. It's like find the good food, find the good coffee.
Do you find out what every city is known for, then go find that?
Shockingly enough, not so much. Like I kind of just like stumble upon and discover or like take suggestions from friends or people who live there. But like for example, like being in NOLA, I don't know why I didn't register beforehand walking into it that it was like seafood. Like it just didn't click. Yeah. And it was so much, and it was so, like everywhere. Where I think I would have prepared for it mentally. Okay. Being like, okay, if you just want a burger today, like where can I? Right. Because it's just like in your face, chicken and seafood everywhere. Which you would think would be great. But like dancing and doing the thing, like
that's heavy on your stomach.
And the costumes don't change. It's just they're not gonna like expand your costume because like you can't stop. Yeah.
As a performer, musical theater, dance, singing, whichever, who were some of your most influential or role model type people for you? Like, do you have any?
Such a good question. I get that. I mean, in terms of musical theater, I don't know if I have a performer in my head that I was like, when I saw this person, I was like, well, I want to do that. I want to be like that. I think it's just like a combination of seeing shows and seeing different artists and the caliber of talent and stuff and what they would do inspired me. Because I can honestly say, just even in the way I was raised, I don't know if even race, for example, was so in the front of my head. And I want to say it in the way that's like as a hindrance. Or like, because you're black, this means that you are XYZ or you'll be seen as XYZ. Like, my parents didn't really have those conversations with us. Okay. I think I noticed it. If I think back on like growing up, I think my mom was a little bit more like, because you're black and black and black kind of a thing. My dad wasn't really like that. So like being able to go to private school for half of my life and being around like white people, I think fostered a sort of automatic color blindness that let me know that I'm capable of doing what I want to do. And I think that filters into the career. So like I'm never watching a show and being like, oh, I see the one black person, that's how I want to be like. Like I didn't really have that lens seeing shows in high school or college.
So you never felt like I don't belong here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, by the time I got to a certain level with dancing, I would go watch shows and be like, that person's lazy, that person's marking, I could do this. If that's what they're doing, I could do this. I'm better than that. Like, that's how I was thinking about anybody across the board. But, like, from a dance training standpoint, you're obviously watching Alvin Ailey, and you're being like, okay, in terms of the dance landscape, like, that's where I'm supposed to be working towards. So, like, sure, do I want to look like Clifton Brown and Matthew Rushing and, you know, like all these people, yes. You know, like those are kind of like the dance figures, Hope Boykin, that you want to emulate, or like, you know, Desmond Richardson. Those are just like dance pioneers who like, I was like, yeah, I would love to dance like that and look like that and fight to be that good. And in musical theater, it was kind of like, how far can I get? Like, do I have what it takes? I didn't train for this. So like, if you want to give me a contract, I'll take it. But it was more just like, how good can I get and how far can I get was more so the focus.
Okay.
And that's shifted in a good way.
Do you think you could do Alvin Ailey? Like perform with them?
Not anymore.
Not
if
anymore.
if I would have graduated and then like went right away to Ailey and started one of their programs, because that's kind of your way into the company. Like you train with them in like an Ailey extension program, for example. Like plenty of people go do like a year there, and then all of a sudden they're in the company, or like they're in Ailey 2, the second company. If I would have did that route and that training, potentially, definitely could have like gotten there for sure. Fresh out of school when the legs were like, you know, ready to go. Now, no, I would have to like.
Time has passed.
And I'm okay with that. Because the good dancing years happened, and I did the thing when I did, and you know, I did what I did when I did, and I think that is more important.
Yeah.
To just like be grateful for those moments than to wish.
Sounds like you have no regrets.
Not really, no.
It went like it was supposed to go.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I feel like, why did I get chosen? As somebody, again, who, like, I try not to put too much weight on the fact that I didn't train for this. I wasn't, like, 5 years old at a Broadway show being like, Daddy, I want to do that. Like, I saw Broadway shows in high school, didn't even register then. Like, that was a career path. That's something I could be doing. Didn't register. Saw shows and was like, that was cool. Time to get on the bus. Like, that was me. So I was like, okay. So to end up in this and doing this and have gotten as far as I've gotten, it's kind of insane. But I think it's a really cool part of my story. And I think it's what makes my story unique, where it's like, you just gotta like jump.
Do you ever consider mentoring and helping with programs and teaching and all that?
I do teach master classes. It is something that I've innately sort of ran from a little bit lately, because I have it in my head that I'm not a teacher for some reason. Mm-hmm. I know I'm really good at it. And I know that like just the energy I exude automatically, because like I taught a class in NOLA 2 days ago, and the vibrations were high and the kids were eating it up and they loved it. And I'm always mindful of like, you really are good at this. Like you should just get over yourself and do more of this. But when they come across my desk, I'll say yes. Is it a outlet I seek to do more of? Not necessarily. Okay. I wish I could put into words exactly what it is, but I don't know. For some reason, I just feel like it's a little more energy and like time than like right now. I feel like
that's a huge responsibility.
Yeah, and the passion part of it, I would want it to be a little bit stronger. But when I'm in the room, I'm on fire. So it's like, it's there. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it.
You just did.
Right, like I'm there, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to teach more, mentor more, like if I want to seek out ways to do that more. That's not really in my gut. Okay. Right now, at least.
What's your master class?
Oh, like I'll go at dance studios and different places and teach like original Broadway choreo. So I'll teach from a show I've done or teach from the show I'm currently in. So it's been a great, like, not even just like way to make money, but a great way to like touch lives and change lives across the nation. Like I've taught for Joffrey Ballet a bunch of times. I've done their summer intensive, like set pieces on them. I've done like boarding school. Like I went to a boarding school in Pennsylvania, the Greer School, and taught there. I used to teach for this company called Broadway Connection, which was like when I'm on tour, I'm doing master classes wherever we are. Yeah, so it's I've done a bunch of it, like a good amount of it. I've judged dance competitions, so it's like I've done a lot of the career stuff. But that part, the mentoring thing, it's like it's cool, it's fun. I don't know if I'm like I'm gonna start a nonprofit. Like I don't know if I'm like there. You know what I mean?
How about the choreography? It's your original choreography?
Oh no! I teach like stuff from the show. Do I do? Yeah. It's so funny. Like wow. Why did I go right back to college? Because like in the dance program you take choreography class, right? So I really always thought I sucked. I was like being a choreographer is just not my jam. This is not good. Like I'm gonna do this assignment and get through it, and like hopefully it's good enough to like pass the class. But like I really never had that fire for being a choreographer. Like setting the piece and making it up. Like you had to in the program, but I didn't really have that. I was the opposite. I'm like, teach me what you want and I can do that. Like I can pick up on colors, replicate vibes. I'm great with style, But my thing, what Sharrod does, I'm going to teach you and set it on you. Nah, that wasn't really my jam.
Oh. But you were
Really
good at
enough.
it when you did it.
But for school?
For school.
Good enough.
Good enough.
I mean, by my standard, I was good enough to pass the class. But there were people who were so creative and just so uniquely them and knew their choreographic voice. I never really felt like I had that. I was still like a mimicker. I'm doing what I see. I was still newly dancing. Like I was only dancing by that point 3 or 4 years. So I didn't really feel like I had my zhuzh. As with some of these girls grew up dancing at their studios their whole lives. So they know what they do. You know what I mean? Like yeah. So it was just a different...
Musical theater is pretty creative and artistic. Aside from that, what's your creative outlet? Don't say paint and sip.
Can you imagine? Like I love a good paint and sip. Like that's a vibe. I think writing was always my jam. I'm really good with words.
Okay.
And I kind of knew that since high school because I was always really great in English and history. I do like social media, if that's an option.
Yeah.
Like enough. I enjoy it enough. I think it's kind of fun. I think making the things, editing the things is kind of cool. Creative outlets. I'm like, what else that's creative, that's not performing? Because I feel like performing is just so much of my life. I mean, I would say those two things right now are what comes to my brain. Yeah.
Not making music. I'm going to force you into it, Sharrod.
Hello, well, not really. I think it would be fun. I've not sat down enough and tried enough to be like, I want to make music. Maybe it would be. I haven't tried it enough to know if it would be, but maybe.
Okay. How long is this? How long are you going to be with Moulin Rouge? Don't tell us the next 4 weeks. Get your tickets now.
I mean, kind of. I don't really know.
How long is the tour scheduled for?
Right now through the fall is what's announced. So the Kennedy Center in DC is a big checkpoint for a lot of people in the show. Because that's contractually where there's a big door marked exit where you could go, and a lot of people are going to make it to that point and then probably move on to other ventures. Or you can stay. It's really up to you.
And will it keep going after that? And will they have...
That's the goal. That's the hope.
People just come in and replace people?
Yep. Replace and go. I mean, I'm trying to get through the summer, but we'll see.
I'm trying to think, what else you got going on?
I'm in Atlanta right now, chilling with the fam.
Chilling.
That's the moment, I guess.
Your web series, you got more seasons coming?
Not even. No,
Not even?
not even. I'm telling you, an 8-show week eats up your life.
Consuming everything.
And it really is. The traveling and the thing, not even, can't even say that is even on the table. I don't know. I mean, would I want to? Yes. Would that be a dream? Absolutely. Is it I know what's happening? I can definitively say, not at the moment. I don't know. Wow. Yeah, I'm kind of just rolling with the punches. I'm like, can I finish this chapter and get back to New York and hopefully New York welcomes me back with
Sharrod, you're back.
Right, opportunities and ways to level up, like agent, let's go. You know what I mean? It's just that's kind of where my brain is at.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna take a long break from touring if you do it again?
Truth, this might be the one. This might be the tour. This might be I think I've toured. I don't know if I could do this again. I don't even know if I trust that the industry is bringing on a show that I would want to do this again, if that makes sense.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, this is from the schedule to the show to where the cities we've gone to. This was the best. This is pretty top tier. Yeah. I mean, Hamilton is obviously, but that's been going for years, and so it's this was yeah. And I've done 2 tours prior, so.
Working in musical theater, how long have you been actually working in musical theater?
Since 2012.
And has it changed in those 10, 11 years
100%.
dramatically?
Dramatically, yes. Even pre-pandemic, it was shifting and changing. Post-pandemic, absolutely.
For better or worse?
A bit of both.
Or just changing?
A bit of both, yeah, just changing.
Okay.
Yeah, I do think that there is a little bit more space held and a little bit more ways in to higher places now. I do think that people who weren't given a chance or weren't looked at are looked at more now. I do think a great thing to say is right now the artist is just not a performer. Okay, no. The artist is not only a performer. You have to kind of have multiple things going. Like, do you have producing tendencies that you like to produce? Do you write? Do you choreograph? Like, what else do you do besides just performing? Like that hamster wheel I was saying before, where everybody was just trying to book the next performing gig. Just book the Broadway. Just try to stay on Broadway. Now it's like, oh, well, I'm also a producer. I'm also a writer. I'm also a, photographer. I also am a videographer. There's just so many other things, and it's kind of celebrated and encouraged to do. Yeah.
Kind of like athletes. You can only play for so long.
Exactly.
What are you gonna do next?
What else can you do?
What else can you do?
And I think that's the biggest shift I felt post-pandemic, because, that word pivot just blew up. Everybody's pivoting. Everything's a pivot. Pivot, pivot, pivot. And then the industry comes back, and it's like, well, I already pivoted. Am I coming back? That was the question. And now we're kind of past that point where it's like either you came back or you didn't. And that's exciting, because if nothing else, if you took the time to really look at yourself and look at what you bring to the table, hopefully you realized you're more than just an 8-show-week dancer. I could be dancing in the dark in the back. Not that they're dancing in the dark, but like it's kind of dark on stage. But like I could be dancing in the dark in the back in Moulin Rouge, or I could be like featured in these bits that in my brain felt small day one of rehearsal, because I thought I was supposed to be dancing, but instead I'm supposed to be getting yelled at in the parking lot after the show. Pierre, you're great. You know what I mean? Like there's a difference in that journey, and what that does for me as an artist, and what now I'm like, oh, I'm capable of doing more than just dancing in the back.
I love it.
Yeah.
On that note, we will end. How can people find you?
So, follow me. No. At Sharrod 7, the number 7, on practically all platforms. So, yeah.
Okay.
And SharrodWilliams.com.
And if that's how they reach you, if anybody wants to
yep, that's my website.
Feed you their script.
Or that. I mean, I'm no Tyler Perry. You know what I'm saying? We're in the land of like Tyler Perry right now. But like maybe one day.
You're on his heels. Don't
right. I mean, I received that. I received that. LA, here I come.
Or Atlanta.
Or Atlanta, honestly.
Or Atlanta.
The more you talk about it, I'm like, things are happening. Like, it is true. You feel it.
Things are happening, and they're happening for you.
Amen.
I love it. On that note, Sharrod, listen, I appreciate you so much for stopping by and chopping it up while we chopped it up in the kitchen.
Oh my gosh,
it was amazing.
so good.
Everything was
so
great.
Good.
So I'd like to say to anybody viewing this, as always, it is our goal to share good people having good food while having a great conversation.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoy this. We'll see you next time.
Bye.